Do you even watch football? OU's offense is abysmal, and after that Ole Miss game, so is your defense. Oklahoma will lose. It's your end. As an Oklahoma fan, I thoroughly believe we will get beat by 14 plus. 0 out of 10 rage bait. Tennessee has better offense than Ole Miss. It will be loud and crazy. You better put up 50 plus then. Let's see how you're holding up tomorrow. Haha, dark mode. A lot of exclamation points. At Neyland, I admit we played terrible at Alabama. We lost to Georgia, but anyone being honest knows Tennessee should have won that game. Oklahoma would have to be flawless, and I just don't see that happening. This guy needs to touch some grass. This guy being me. Just going to put a little bookmark in this piece of rage bait. I know you don't believe this will happen, but kudos for using Tennessee fans to get views. Not happening, hero. Tennessee will beat Oklahoma, period. Only team to beat UT at home is Georgia in the last 4 years. Oklahoma isn't beating Tennessee in general, especially at Neyland. I'm saving this for after the game when Tennessee wins and OU can't score more than 17 points. Those are just some of the things that were said to me about me after I picked Oklahoma to go into Neyland Stadium and beat the Tennessee Volunteers. And if you were sleeping under a rock yesterday, if you didn't pay attention at all, that's exactly what happened. Oklahoma went into Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, and beat the Tennessee Volunteers. And I responded to some of these people. They haven't shown back up. They haven't even responded to my response. Especially Travis Smith, 29-49. I'm saving this for after the game when Tennessee wins and OU can't score more than 17 points. OU scored 33. It's the most they've scored in an SEC game in the last 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. 33 is more than 17, right? It is, Ian. Thank you for checking yourself. A lot of people were upset with what I said, and we will jump into the game here in a little bit. But welcome into the show, everybody. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and do that down below and follow on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. That is where these comments were pulled from, ladies and gentlemen. These hate comments, these haters I have here, especially Wesley Sylvie. I mean, poor guy. He said Oklahoma would have to play flawless to beat Tennessee. Boy, oh boy, did they play anything but flawless last night and still went into Neyland Stadium and beat the Volunteers. That is where we will start in the game recaps. We have muffins for you, and then we have my top 25, the what if poll. Let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. It is number 18, Oklahoma, at number 14, Tennessee. Final score, OU 33, Tennessee 27. Again, I was confident in this football game. I told you last week after Oklahoma lost to Ole Miss, I woke up on Sunday morning and I looked at my wife and I said, the only good thing to come from that Oklahoma loss against Ole Miss is that they're going to go to Neyland Stadium and beat the Tennessee Volunteers. I said that on Sunday morning after a loss. I knew this was happening all week. I was confident in it all week. People asked me, you really still think that? Friday night, Thursday night. I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. What do you know, ladies and gentlemen? I am 9-0 in picking Oklahoma games correctly this year. Maybe you should start paying attention to this guy who knows ball, especially when it comes to the Oklahoma Sooners. Winners first. In the preview to the show, we do, so, what I know, what we can expect from them, how are they going to win, biggest questions for each of these teams. What I knew from Oklahoma, the defense was legit. Even with the Ole Miss game in our rearview mirror, I still knew this defense was legit, and they showed it again last night. 4 sacks. Most Tennessee has given up this year. They had 8 tackles for loss. They forced 3 turnovers. One of them was returned for a touchdown in what could have been the most pivotal point in the entire season for Oklahoma. Just a grown man play. Mason Thomas stiff-arming a guy for 25, 30 yards, pulls his hamstring, still hobbles into the end zone. Unbelievable. That defense from Oklahoma gets after people. We knew that coming into this game, and they showed it again last night. The second thing that we knew was that Mateer was going to have to play some different football. He was going to have to play like he did at the beginning of the season, okay? We knew he would have to have a different game on Saturday from what he had against Texas, South Carolina, and Ole Miss. And for the first half, he looked like the guy against Texas, the guy against South Carolina, and the guy against Ole Miss. And then something happened at halftime. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I'm not sure who hit him in the face, who had a talking to with him, who said, hey, You're not this guy. You remember that guy against Michigan? Remember that guy against Auburn? That is who you are, John Mateer. And sure enough, he came out in the second half and started firing on all cylinders. Run game, pass game, didn't matter. He was awesome in the second half. Okay, biggest question for Oklahoma for this game last night was the offensive line. How is it going to look? We knew they were going to start 3 freshmen, 1 redshirt, 2 true freshmen on Saturday against this really veteran defensive front from Tennessee. How did it look? Are they going to be able to hold up? Are they going to be able to hold their water and not false start, not get a bunch of penalties in a hostile atmosphere that was dark mode Tennessee last night in Neyland Stadium? 3 freshmen absolutely balled out. They were able to get movement in the run game, pulling guards up the middle, creating space, moving Tennessee's defensive line off the football left and right. 35 for 192 season high against a power 4 opponent for Oklahoma this season. Averaged, I believe, just over 5 yards a carry. Exceptional from the offensive line last night, okay? Now, you will look at the box score and you will see, Ian, but they gave up 3 sacks. They had 3 sacks, Ian. Folks, those 3 sacks, 2 of them were John Mateer's fault, okay? And they were both in the first half. Well, one of them was in the first half. The other one was in the second half, where John Mateer is dancing around in the pocket. Whoa, what's going on? There's no reason to dance, Johnny. There's no reason to dance, Mateer. The pocket is clean. Step up in the pocket, deliver the football, scramble away, do something else besides run into your right tackle who has a guy right there, and you just run into the guy he's blocking. That counts as a sack. Those were 2 of the sacks last night, so I'm going to give 1 to the offensive line and 2 to John Mateer. Ryan Foje is the right tackle for Oklahoma right now. True freshman, his second start ever in college. He had been playing right guard the entire year as a backup. Threw him in against Ole Miss last week, held up relatively well. Came in against Tennessee last night. I'm just going to throw this out there. Ryan Foje is going to be a superstar right tackle. How many times did you hear his name last night if you watched the football game? 0. Goose egg. That's a good thing if you're a right tackle in Neyland Stadium. The man was unbelievable. He just, boom, pass protection, boom, they come right at him. No, you're not going anywhere. And he's good at picking up a blitz late, just getting something on him. Mateer has to step up, makes the play happen. Ryan Foje is going to be the best right tackle in college football in 2 years' time. No doubt in my mind. Also, just a quick tidbit of information. Eddie Pierre-Louis, left guard for Oklahoma. He's a redshirt freshman. Right before OU took the lead to go up 33-24, I believe, Eddie Pierre-Louis is headbutting his left tackle. Just a madman, psychopath. That's what you need on your offensive line, and Oklahoma has it now in Eddie Pierre-Louis. Great win for this football team. Brent Venables needed this one, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most important win in his entire career. Fun fact, the only 2 SEC road wins Oklahoma has in its entire history as a program, ranked SEC road wins, are both against Tennessee. One when OU was in the Big 12, and then this one last night. Exceptional win from this OU team. They did not play flawless like Mr. Wesley said they would have to do. They played anything but flawless. They were outgained by their penalty yards in the first quarter. They were outgained by their defense on turnover returns in the first half, and yet they were up 16-10, and they won this football game. Anything but flawless. Congrats to OU. Congrats to Brent Venables. Everything is in front of them. Bye week, Alabama, Missouri, LSU, all winnable games. Some say you lose one of those, win the other 2, you are in the playoffs at 9-3. I'm not there yet. I think they need to go 10-2, but we will find out. A lot of chaos can still happen these last 4 weeks of the season. Tennessee, what did we know about them coming into this football game? We knew, 1, the stadium is going to be rocking, shaking, up and down, woo, 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 woo. And it almost blew the decibel reader into oblivion. That's how loud it was. Those were the reports on the ground that this was one of the loudest environments of all time. We knew that coming in. How was Tennessee going to harness that? How was Oklahoma going to handle that? Okay. By all accounts, unbelievable atmosphere. Credit to the Tennessee fans. It is on the bucket list. Probably number 1 on the bucket list for me to get to for a game there at night. Now, the second thing we knew was these were the best group of wide receivers that Oklahoma will have faced all season long. Okay, we highlighted one guy in particular, Braylon Staley, mainly works out of the slot, and we said he could destroy Oklahoma's season this year because what Oklahoma struggled with is the safeties in coverage. A lot of people are going to highlight the corners. They've been solid all year. It is not their fault. It is the safety's fault. And sure enough, Braylon Staley, 6 for 75, 2 touchdowns. He had a 56-yarder to take the lead in the second half where he broke a couple tackles, made another guy miss on his way to the end zone. We highlighted him in the preview show. He could have broken Oklahoma's hopes and seasons last night. He tried his very best. And then Aguilar, 393 yards. Really, 392 yards, 3 touchdowns. Really good game from him, except for the 2 interceptions, which are inexcusable at the end of the first half. And that's really where this game kind of slipped away from Tennessee. Those last 4 minutes of the first half, you have the 2 turnovers turned into a field goal for Oklahoma to go up 6 and then go into half. And all the momentum was really on Oklahoma's side at that point in the game. Now, the biggest questions for Tennessee coming into this game were how they're going to respond to being one-dimensional. And you're thinking, Ian, being one-dimensional, it was a preview. There's no way you knew that was going to happen. It is, because I knew it was going to happen. I said, OU is going to make Tennessee one-dimensional. They are going to stop the run. If you look at here, right here beside me, rushing for Tennessee, 35 attempts for 63 yards. Blech. Gross. Not good if you're a Tennessee fan. Not good at all. We knew that was going to happen. How was Tennessee going to respond? And sure enough, I mean, they responded exceptionally well in the passing game, other than those couple interceptions from Aguilar. But the pressure he was under made him make poor throws, poor decisions. He did not like being under attack by this Oklahoma defensive front and by the blitzes Brent Venables was dialing up. Okay, Tennessee, where do they go from here? They're eliminated from playoff contention. Boom, put them out. We don't need to discuss Tennessee in terms of playoff hopes for the rest of the year. They've lost to Alabama, they've lost to Georgia, and they've lost to Oklahoma. Those are the 3 best teams they've played. Other than that, their best one is maybe Kentucky. Kentucky, maybe? Not great. I still think Josh Heupel's the guy there for Tennessee. But congrats to OU. Huge win. Biggest win of the weekend, in my opinion, for any team in the entire country. Congrats to OU. Moving right along to Vanderbilt at Texas. Going to take a sip here from the patented mug. Again, while I do this, go ahead and subscribe down below. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram as well. Number 9, Vanderbilt at number 20, Texas. Vanderbilt 31, Texas 34. Some of you are probably shocked that this was the final score if you tuned in for the first half, first 3 quarters maybe, and then shut that sucker off. And then some of you are probably thinking, oh, yeah, Texas just squeaks by again for the 3rd straight week, Ian. Squeaks by again. Both wrong, okay? Texas was in control of this game for the entirety of the football game, the first 3 quarters. They were up 34-10 at the start of the 4th quarter. Dominated the football game for the first 3 quarters. It was unbelievable. It was the Texas team that we expected for the entire season. Arch Manning was dialed. Steve Sarkisian was cooking on the offensive play call. The defense was getting after Diego Pavia, just sacking him, tackles for loss, creating havoc. They were owning the line of scrimmage on offense, on defense. It was a manhandling. And then something happened. And Texas got foot off the gas. You got to, I don't know why coaches do. Keep the foot on the gas. Be aggressive because it's working. You cannot just let off. Hey, we're gonna start playing a little different defense. Do not do it. Do not do it. Cardinal sin. Do not do it. It let Tennessee get back into the football game. They almost recovered an onside kick when they made it 31-34, 30 seconds left to kick a field goal. It was in his hands, and then its own Vanderbilt player slapped it out of bounds. This close to going to overtime for the 3rd straight week for Texas. But they did not. Again, in the preview show, we said Texas to win. They're going to need to be aggressive offensively in the passing game. What were they? Oh, look at that. 330 yards for Arch Manning and 3 touchdowns. I would call that aggressive. Yes. Okay. Now, it wasn't aggressive vertically attacking downfield. It was aggressive on the perimeter. Hey, get the ball out quick. Let's let our playmakers do what they do best. And that's make people miss and run fast. And they did that. That's an aggressive game plan because they could have played conservative. Hey, we're gonna hand the ball off to Travion Wisener or CJ Baxter like 30 times and just milk the clock. No. They were aggressive. First play of the game, 75-yard touchdown. Texas, a lot of people are going to be upset about this. They are still alive for the SEC championship game and wildly in the conversation for the college football playoff hopes. Okay, they're 7-2. 1 loss in conference. They play Georgia. They play Texas A&M. You win out if you're a Texas Longhorn. You are in the college football playoff, and you very well may be in the SEC title game. Unbelievable. Arch Manning is dialed in right now. They are not a fun team to play. The defense would have had to turn it around after what they did against Mississippi State, and they did. They balled out those first 3 quarters. Again, they let up. That's a coaching thing. They let up. in the fourth quarter when they were up by 24. But now they lead the country in sacks. They lead the nation in sacks. This Texas Longhorn defense does. You don't want to be going up against them. Vanderbilt. To win this football game, we said Diego Pavia was going to have to take care of the football, and they were going to have to run the ball well. Okay? Diego Pavia, he took care of the football other than the one turnover he had, which kind of cost them the football game in the sense that it injected juice into the Texas Longhorn defense, and it injected juice into that Texas football stadium. Okay? Now, it was already juiced. The defense was already juiced, but it took it to another level in that first quarter. Made Texas go up by 2 scores, and from there, Vanderbilt was scrambling early in the football game, so they really couldn't even get the ground game going because they were down by so much. Diego Pavia had to sling the ball around, and they almost did it. Credit to them. Clark Lee has this team fighting for every single thing, every single week. They're still alive in the college football playoff race, the Vanderbilt Commodores. Still alive. They play Auburn, they play Kentucky, and they play Tennessee. All very winnable games. They win out. They're probably in the college football playoff. Keep that as a realistic expectation for Vanderbilt this season. Next game up. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Number 10, Miami at SMU. Final of this one. Miami 20, SMU 26 in overtime. Oh, baby. Miami was favored by 10.5 in this football game. If you listen to the preview show, congrats, you knew this was coming. If you don't, you need to be tuned in. Again, subscribe down below, follow on social media. This was in our upset preview for Week 10. And sure enough, it happened. It happened, folks. Again, I previewed it this week. I said, hey, if you're going to the pumpkin patch, if you're going to a quinceañera, however you say it, if you're going to a Halloween party, do not do it. Say, no, I cannot. This is going to be an epic weekend of college football. And boy, oh boy, did we get it. 2 top 10 teams fall, both in the ACC, one of them being Miami. But we start with winners here on the Ian Fritts Show. Kevin Jennings, to win this football game, we knew that he was going to have to play lights out. He was going to have to sling the ball around against that Miami secondary. He was going to have to play really good football. What did he do? 29 of 44, 365, 1 touchdown. Jordan Wilson, Larson, career day for him at wide receiver, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. SMU's pass offense kind of shredded Miami secondary here in this football game. It could have been more. They didn't quite connect on some of the deep balls that could have been 50, 60-yard touchdowns. They're boom or bust. And that leads me into the second point here for SMU, the secondary. We knew they were boom or bust coming into this football game. And to beat Miami, they were going to need to be boom in this football game. And we kind of got a little bit of both. We kind of got, hey, it was either a big play for Miami and the wide receivers, a big long touchdown, or it was, hey, you had an exceptional pass breakup, or you had an interception. And that interception in overtime to seal the win is the definition of boom or bust because he doesn't get there in time. He doesn't pick it off. It's a touchdown to Malachi Toney. SMU is down in overtime. Do they win? Who knows? But it doesn't matter because the secondary comes through for SMU again this season, forcing turnovers. Congrats to SMU. But the real story is Miami. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. It's the same story. It's the same story every single year. What year is this? 2025? I feel like we've had this conversation the past 3-4 years with Miami. Hey, they look pretty good August through October. And then November comes around. The weather starts to change a little bit. They don't have to be in sunny Miami, Florida anymore. They get kind of 55-degree weather, and they think, ooh, I don't really want to play football anymore. I like that sun. I like that beach down in Miami. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Miami Hurricanes. Doesn't matter, Mario Cristobal. You guys need to lock in and get it together. Get your head screwed on right, okay? The record in the last 4 years for Miami in August to October is 85%. They win 85% of those games. In November and December, it's 33%. It is the biggest drop in win percentage in all of college football from the first 3 months of the season to the last 2 months of the season. Every single year under Mario Cristobal, this happens. We should have seen it coming. That is on me. That is on everybody else for not seeing this coming. Just a disaster. Carson Beck, disappointment again yesterday. Couple mistakes with the 2 interceptions. Missed on some throws that were there. Not good. Fourth-year guy, you cannot throw that ball in overtime, put it in harm's way like that. You're trying to make a play. I get it. You can't do it as a fourth-year starter. Cannot do it, Carson Beck. The season is not looking great for Miami. They have Syracuse, NC State, and Pitt. Okay? Not a good look for Miami if you want to win out and make it to the college football playoff. Because don't look now, but that last game against Pitt right now, folks, Pitt looks like one of the best teams in all of college football right now with how they're playing, with their true freshman quarterback. The Notre Dame win for Miami is carrying a lot of weight. That was all the way back in August. Are we really going to be counting that? I think we do if they end up having the same record. But I have a feeling that is not Miami's last loss of the season. Next game up, Florida versus Georgia, the world's greatest cocktail party, whatever it's called. Florida 20, Georgia 24. The Cardiac Kids. The Cardiac Kids is what Kirby Smart called this football team after yet another come-from-behind, second-half come-from-behind win for the Georgia Bulldogs. They seemingly just do not care about playing football in the first half. You watch them play football in the first half and you think, this is the number 6 team in the country? This is the Kirby Smart Georgia Bulldog team? This? And sure enough, here they come out in the second half and they, boom, hit you in the mouth. The defense starts playing like Kirby Smart defense, and they control. They control, and somehow they just sneak back in and they win the football game. It is unbelievable. Kirby Smart says it best. The Cardiac Kids, that is who they are. That is who they will be for the entire season. We need to come to terms with that. I'm not there yet. I don't want to admit that's who this Georgia football team is because I was high on them in the preseason. But it is very concerning that that is how they keep winning football games. It is a nice skill to learn. That is a learned skill to win football games close like that. But it will bite you eventually. It bit them against Alabama. It's going to bite you again eventually. Their outlook for the rest of the season, they play Mississippi State, they play Texas, they play Charlotte, and they play Georgia Tech. 3 good football games. They obviously only have the 1 loss, squarely in the college football playoff conversation. You can probably lose one of those games. You're still in this thing. I have a feeling they will drop one of these last 4 football games because of their nature to be behind in the fourth quarter. You cannot win every single game like that. It will hurt you eventually. PSA to Kirby Smart. He knows that. Not saying anything he doesn't know. Last game up. It'll be a quick one, folks. Number 17, Cincinnati at number 24, Utah. Cincinnati 14, Utah 45. Blech. Blech. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Utah's defense is legit, ladies and gentlemen. It is exceptional. Okay, maybe some of us were a little disappointed in them early in the year because of that Texas Tech game. I think that might have been a fluke, folks. That might have been a fluke because ever since then, this Utah defense has been on fire. They are coming off the rock. They are owning the line of scrimmage. The secondary has a lot of elite. I'm not going to say elite. Elite is reserved for top 1% of college football. A lot of really good college football players in that secondary. They fly around. They force turnovers. They control football games. They are awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, you're probably thinking, what about Cincinnati? Well, what about Cincinnati? Look, this is their first real test, ladies and gentlemen. First real test for the entire season, if you ask me, and they got crushed, creamed, bleh. Didn't look great. Other than one play that they had an 88-yard touchdown on, it didn't really matter because Utah controlled and won that football game from the very first snap to the very last snap. All 3 phases of the football game, Utah dominated. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, muffins. This is the second part of the show. If you are new here, you're thinking, what are muffins? Well, you see a muffin tray next to me. It is called the Certified Stud Muffin Award. It is probably the most prestigious award in all of college football, not named the Heisman Trophy. And what it is we give out each week this award to a coach, a player, a fan base, even maybe an entire state, maybe a stadium for a big-time performance in a big-time game. Okay, I had some people coming after me for saying, hey, why didn't you pick this person or this player? Because it wasn't in a big-time football game, okay? Anybody can be a stud muffin in a regular game when you're playing the school of the blind. But when you're on the road, when you're playing a number 9 team in the country, that's when you become a certified stud muffin, okay? Now, I could go Arch Manning here. Unbelievable game from him. You saw the stats earlier. But that is not where we are going to go. We are going to do a first in the history of the Ian Fritts Show. We are going to do the first kicker to ever win the Certified Stud Muffin Award in the history of this show, Tate Sandell, kicker for the University of Oklahoma. He made kicks of 55, 55, 51, and 40 for Oklahoma to beat Tennessee on the road. He deserves it. Congratulations. Certified Stud Muffin, Tate Sandell, first kicker in the history of the show. It is well deserved. Tate Sandell. Unbelievable. Also, go follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram because I put out a video of this man and what he was wearing last night. Some funny clips. This man is wearing a thong kicking for Oklahoma, okay? It is hilarious. But he deserves the Certified Stud Muffin Award. Congrats to Tate Sandell. My top 25 for week 11. Folks, PSA, public service announcement, FYI, FWIW, whatever acronym you want to use. It is getting extremely difficult to rank 25 teams, okay? And what I try to do in the what if poll is I rank based on what has happened on the football fields, okay? What if we ranked based on what has happened on the football fields, not based on what we think will happen, who we think is a better team, because who we think is a better team is different for everybody in the country, okay? You have to have a reason why you rank somebody 1 ahead of 2, okay? You can't just say, well, I think they're a better football team. And that doesn't work, folks. There's got to be backed up by some sort of metric, okay? And I do it based on what has happened on the football fields. I value head-to-head. I value all of those things here on the Ian Fritts Show What If poll. Here we go, jumping right in, putting those first 5 up there. 25 through 21, Memphis, Iowa, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Missouri. Pitt, this is the first time they've been ranked in the top 25 all year for me. I wanted to put them higher, could have put them higher, because they are playing, I think, the best football of any team in the ACC right now. And that honestly isn't saying a lot because who else really has the ability to say that? Maybe Louisville, and they are ranked ahead of them as well. You could say Virginia, they're undefeated in ACC play, but they're playing in a lot of these close games. Pitt is blowing people out, and they have the best quarterback in maybe the country right now in Heinschkel, okay? Georgia Tech dropped them really far. They were in the top 5 last week because they were undefeated, and I dropped them. I wanted to drop them the past couple weeks with how they've played. Now I get to because of the loss against NC State. Wasn't even that close. 20 through 16. Washington at 20, Michigan 19, USC 18, Oklahoma 17, Vanderbilt number 16. Just a couple of 7-2 or a few 7-2 teams, all kind of the same in my opinion. OU has the win against Michigan, USC has the win against Michigan, Michigan has the win against Washington. So they all have the same record. I value that head to head. Vanderbilt played Texas closer than Oklahoma, so I'm going to put them ahead of Oklahoma. So that is the logic there, folks. Then we have 15 through 11, Texas, Utah, Notre Dame, Miami, and Louisville. Fighting Irish at number 13. Okay, a lot of people probably hate me for this one. Look, Louisville beat Miami. Going to be ahead of Miami. Miami beat Notre Dame. They're going to be ahead of the Fighting Irish if they have the same record, which they do right now. Again, Miami loses another game. They're a 3-loss team. Notre Dame's going to jump ahead of them. But until they have different, if they have the same record and Miami owns that head-to-head, I don't care if it happened in July. If it was a part of this season, you got to take that into account. You got to value the head-to-head. That is why Miami stays ahead of Notre Dame. If you were to ask me who I think is a better football team right now, Notre Dame, without a question, I think is a better team than Miami. But that is not what this is. That is not what rankings should be. That would be a power rating. Okay, now I'm off my soapbox. Let's jump into the top 10. Virginia, Oregon, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and Georgia are 6 through 10. The Cavaliers continue to just win football games. I'm thinking this team just knows how to win. Somehow, some way, they're going to squeak out a one-possession football game, and it is going to be hilarious to watch, okay? It is unbelievable what Tony Elliott has done there for the Virginia Cavaliers this season. They're fun to watch. Oregon at number 9. Still haven't played anybody, but they only have the one loss. Texas Tech at 8. exceptional performance from them yesterday against Kansas State. I thought that was going to be a trap game, folks. In fact, I picked Kansas State to win that football game. I looked dumb. Horrible pick. Not a great idea, Ian, to pick Kansas State against this Texas Tech team. No good. I thought it was a look-ahead spot because they're playing BYU next week. Nope. Joey McGuire had those boys ready to play. They looked awesome. Texas Tech moving up. Huge game against BYU this week. Top 5, Alabama, BYU, Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Indiana. Again, BYU, do I think they're the 4th best team in the entire country? No, I do not. However, they are ranked there because they're a Power 4 undefeated team 11 weeks into the season. You're going to be up there. You have to be up there. I don't understand why we can put a team like Alabama ahead of them who's lost to a Florida State team who is abysmal. Okay? Just my thoughts. Now, if BYU loses, then we can drop them. But until they do that, they've got to be there, folks. Huge game against Texas Tech this week in Lubbock. Texas, A&M, Ohio State, Indiana. Again, consensus top 3 in my mind. I think Indiana has the edge over Ohio State right now based on what they continue to do to opponents and how they just bludgeon them to death each and every week. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the entire show. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned this week for the Week 11 preview show. We will react to the college football playoff rankings that happen on Tuesday night. We will have game previews, 3 of them coming your way, and then we will have the picks. Again, back-to-back winning weeks right now. Folks, we are on a roll with the picks. We are winning money here at the Ian Fritts Show. So if you want to win money, tune into that on Tuesday or Wednesday on this channel. Subscribe down below. Click that bell so you know it is on. And then follow on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I love you guys. Bye.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts-Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
45, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes